Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today is the Sunday series for June edition where I'm going to be answering your questions that you have asked me on Facebook, on Instagram or my YouTube or any other channels like my email. So this is the series that I've launched where I'm going to be answering your questions, and it's called Ask Me Anything. So actually you don't have to specifically ask me about cabin crew. You can ask me about confidence, personality development and any other things that you could think of that I could help you as a life coach. I will try my best to answer as many questions as possible in these coming weeks. Let's take up the first question. What is the best quality that they want? So for everyone's reference, we are referring to the cabin crew interviewers here. And if you honestly ask me, there is no one particular quality that the interviewers are looking for. Being a cabin crew is actually a package. They really don't want people who are actually super confident, but at the same time, they don't want people who are super nervous as well. They want someone who is just nice in between, who is able to carry themselves well, who is approachable, who is humble, who is presentable, who is groomed decently well, who is able to communicate with people with a smile on their face. So this is what I tell everyone, especially when I do my personal coaching classes. When you go for that interview, think and behave as if you are a cabin crew already, because then you will be able to portray all those qualities effortlessly and the interviewers will be able to see those qualities in you as well. Next question is, what should be included in self-introduction? Because usually Singapore Airlines would give only candidates about 30 seconds. Honestly, this is true for any airline in particular. You really can't take a lot of time to introduce yourself. I have actually made a video on how to introduce yourself, which I'll be launching very soon, but I just wanted to address this question here for anyone who's actually going for the interview anytime soon. Now let's understand what is introduction all about. Introduction is the phase where the interviewer is looking at people who can actually impress them, and that is the reason they don't give you a lot of time, because impressing people should not take more than a few seconds. Now, how basically you should introduce yourself so that you are able to impress your interviewers, it's not just by the choice of words, but also the way you present yourselves. And this is something that I tell a lot of people all the time. Please do not go to an interview with a scripted answer, especially when it comes to self-introduction, because more often than not, people will just stand up and they will say, good morning everyone, my name is Michelle and I'm 26 years old and I have been working with so-and-so company for so many number of years, and I did my graduation from this place and I did this from this place and these are my hobbies. Let's understand that these things are actually already in front of the interviewer. So when they ask you to introduce yourself, they're not looking for a very lengthy, long introduction. They're just looking to see how you can present yourself with the smile on your face and how you can be spontaneous. If you can add a little bit of humor to your introduction, if you can make the interviewers smile by telling them something really interesting about you. For example, I had someone who came up to me and this person works for Lazada. So the introduction that we came up with was, I work at Lazada and honestly I'm an online shopping fanatic. I guess that's one of the reasons I ended up at Lazada. So when someone hears that, basically you're engaging the interviewer by telling them like a small story or by just adding a little bit of humor. So I would recommend, when it comes to introduction, definitely mention your name, mention your age, mention your current experience, and maybe say something interesting about you. That would be a few things that I would recommend you to include in your introduction so that it's not very long, but at the same time it's interesting enough to impress the interviewers. I have little hair on my hands, and do I need to wax it off? Honestly, it is something very, very personal. I definitely do recommend people to either wax or shave before they go for the interview, because at the end of the day it's also about the image. When they're looking at you, they're looking at a cabin crew in you, and if they want to choose a cabin crew, they want to choose someone who looks like a cabin crew, and usually cabin crew would wax their hands or shave their hands, because having a lot of hair on your hand or your legs, especially when you're wearing skirts or tops that can show off your hands, then it's not very sightly. But again, as I said, it's a very personal thing. It's really up to you whether you want to wax or you don't want to wax. But I would definitely recommend that you should do it before you go for the interview. Okay, so the next question that we're taking up is related to video interview, and if you have received an email for your video interview or anytime soon when you'll be applying for especially Singapore Airlines or any other airlines, because quite a few airlines actually do video interview these days, should you introduce yourself before answering the question or proceed to the answer right away? Now, let's understand it's very important to greet your interviewers at the beginning of any interview. So I will definitely suggest you to say good morning or good afternoon, depending upon whatever the time of the day is at your place when you're taking the video interview. So for example, if the question is, what makes you angry? You don't really have to say good morning and say your name before every question, but maybe right at the start. So you can say, good morning everyone, my name is Carl. What makes me angry in particularly is actually nothing, because I'm a very calm and positive person. I seldom get angry about things, and I understand that it is very important to have the positive attitude and smile on your face at all times. So again, depends on whether the question is being asked in the interview. You would go about introducing yourself, which means if in the video introduction the question is, please introduce yourself and tell us something about your current experience, then please go ahead and introduce yourself. The two questions here that I'm going to be addressing, it's about chicken pox scars and also about freshers being hired for cabin crew jobs. So let's talk about the chicken pox scars. Actually, most of us when we're young, we end up getting chicken pox, and sometimes it does leave certain scars on our face. I would definitely suggest to begin with, have some proper skincare, because in long run scars can be reduced if you take care of your skin, if you use ointments that basically can help you fade those scars. But if you still have scarring on your face, especially from chicken pox, I would definitely advise you to conceal it with makeup and go for the interview. Let the interviewers decide whether they're okay with that kind of scar on your face or not, because at the end of the day, most airlines do a skin check, so they will eventually actually take a look at your skin and they will be able to look at that scar. So I would definitely suggest to go for the interview, but just conceal it with makeup. Any question about freshers being hired for cabin crew jobs? Now, actually, honestly, a lot of airlines do hire freshers without even any customer service experience, if unless stated by the airline specifically. So for example, I know that Vistara sometimes specify when they're hiring experienced crew that they do need certain amount of experience. Even for Jet Airways, when they want experienced crew, they will specify that they're looking for experienced crew. And if they're looking for freshers, they will let you know that they're looking for freshers. So I know Jet Airways do hire freshers, Indigo does hire freshers. In fact, international airlines, Singapore Airlines does hire freshers with no particular customer service experience. However, you have to ensure that you meet the educational qualifications, and of course there are other requirements in terms of the criteria that all these airlines have for you to be able to interview with them and get selected. So this is it for today. I hope I was able to address some of your questions, and keep your questions pouring on my YouTube, my Instagram, and on my Facebook. If you still haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do it now. Press the notification bell as well so you could know about the next video upload. And of course, I'll be really happy to guide and coach you guys. Do drop me an email if you'd like to inquire about the personal coaching that I do for cabin crew interviews. I'm soon to launch the group coaching sessions so that a lot of you can benefit at large as well. And I'm planning to do personality development, grooming, confidence building, and a few other classes too. I'm going to keep you guys posted. In the meantime, stay happy, stay handsome, stay pretty, and I love you guys.